I'm so happy that you are here. My name is Anindita and I'm a functional medicine certified health coach. And today I'm talking about why allowing your body to guide you is extremely important, because most people living with a chronic illness want to get better, and that might include you, using a more holistic or natural approach. They want to enjoy life, they want to feel energetic, they want to live without pain and enjoy time well spent with their families and friends. They don't want to be on medications to manage their symptoms for the rest of their life and then go on to develop yet more autoimmune conditions. But the problem is that by not allowing their bodies to guide them, to let them know whether they're on the right track, to change direction as and when needed, they are what I call weary warriors. They become and they remain stuck as weary warriors. And you may be a weary warrior if you are taking medications for more than 3 years, if you have gone on to develop at least one more autoimmune condition in the meanwhile. You feel tired most of the time, even when you have slept for more than 7 to 8 hours and have got actually a good nice rest, and you haven't been out with your family for more than 3 months. So weary warrior is where my client was. And if this is something that sounds like you, then you are this session is for you. So my client was a weary warrior. When she started to work with me, she had brain fog, she had low energy. She did not really have a confirmed diagnosis, but she knew that there was something wrong. She had a whole host of symptoms, unexplained symptoms, most of them. So there were a lot of things going on. There was some element of immune dysregulation, but we really did not have a name yet. And as she went through what I call a body-wise healing framework, that's a unique framework that I teach inside my coaching program, she found ways to support her body, and rather than judge and criticize and shame it, she found blame it actually, and she found the peace that she was looking for. And what happened as a result of that is that she found the strength to make the changes that were necessary for her body to heal, for her to provide a healing environment. And she started paying attention to what the body was trying to tell us, whatever symptoms were there, started to exercise, eat healthy foods, and of course that made a huge difference. And in her words, it led, all of this together led to immense confidence. And she says, and I quote, "I have a spring in my step, and my mental fogginess and challenge in decision making, anxiety and worry have reduced. I feel more a part of life than life happening to me." In other words, she left the program a completely transformed person, right? And this transformation allowed her body to guide her because she allowed her body to guide her by making it her friend, using the body-wise healing framework. But this is possible for you and for everyone else, right? This is the beauty of making your body an ally. Because living with an autoimmune condition is a 24/7 battle, right? Any chronic illness, any severe chronic illness is a huge when you are dealing with it, and you have to deal with it on a daily basis, right? So what most women, sorry, we just lost, I think, a bit of, there was an issue. So what most women want is to feel like their old selves again, to feel energetic, to be able to do the things that they once did, to be able to make plans, right, without feeling that the uncertainty or unpredictability where they can suddenly have a flare up. So these are some of the things that women with these kind of chronic illnesses want to go back to their old lives. But the problem is that most women have not been told or taught how to allow their bodies to be their guide, right? To tell them, as I mentioned in my client's case, whether they're on the right track, whether they're on the right path, whether a particular food is suiting them or not suiting them. We might know that gluten is not really, something that people with autoimmune diseases need to take out. And in fact, most chronic illnesses where inflammation is comes as a part of it, gluten is an inflammatory food and has to be taken up. But what are the other foods, right? What are the other things? And the tests may not be all reliable. Tests are not infallible. So it has to be a combination of what you're getting as far as your test results are concerned and what your body is actually telling you. And they don't realize that the body is actually the best guide that they have when it comes to supporting their creating that environment, right, to start getting better. And But you can rely only on expensive and endless tests, including functional medicine testing, right? So only relying on all these to get answers. But what happens is that you typically don't know whether what you have is enough, right? Or how do you even know that what you have is enough? Or how do you even know that the data that you have received is actually what you need and relevant and not redundant, right? So these are some of the issues of banking only on these kind of tests. And or you can continue to take medications to suppress the immune system, but you may keep getting more and more sick because you have not really addressed what the root of it, what the root cause of it is, which is immune dysregulation, which is connected to your gut health. But if you allowed yourself to be guided by your body, then you will know whether you are on the right track, whether you have gone off track, and how to come back to it, right? So that's the difference. But when most people try to find answers, they believe that getting more and more tests done is the only solution, is the only way. So get more and more data, maybe throw more and more supplements at it, and that's the only way that they will get better. Or that they run around in circles behind getting more and more, as I said, more and more tests done, more and more medications, and and they believe, because they believe that diet and lifestyle are not really relevant or as effective as these are, right? And also what they're often led to believe that their body is weak and vulnerable, and without all these they can't really get better because the body doesn't know how to. But that's nowhere near the truth, because our bodies have evolved over, and we have evolved as a species over millions of years of evolution, and we wouldn't have survived all these millions of years if our bodies did not know how to heal themselves. But given the right kind of environment, given the nutrients, all of that had to be in place. But the bodies have an innate wisdom that we need to learn again how to tap into. So if simply suppressing the immune system was the solution, then everyone who was on these medications would get better, right? But we all know that's not the case. We all know that many people get more and more sick even on these medications, and they do go on to develop more autoimmune conditions, because we now know that if you have one autoimmune condition, the chances of developing more are 3 times higher than a person who doesn't have it, right? So because there is immune dysregulation which is going on, and because these medications do not really address that, they prevent further damage, and which is why they are necessary. I always tell my clients to continue with medications, to continue to work with medical professionals, because they would need to make sure that they prevent further damage, but at the same time they need to find ways to address the root causes, right? That's where gut health, etc. comes in. And this is so disempowering, right? Because you've just suppressing and you're not seeing the results, you're not getting any better. So it's really disempowering, especially if you've been living with this condition for years or maybe even decades. And for people who are living with these conditions for such a long time, they feel that they have exhausted all options for the treatment and relief, and they end up as weary warriors, right? So they feel tired and defeated and without hope of getting any better. That's often where they land up, right? And because they don't get the answers that they were really looking for. So how do you get better? How do you get better and move on from being a weary warrior? How do you create an environment where your body can actually heal and thrive? You do that by allowing your body to be your guide, right? You find ways to listen to what it is trying to tell you on a daily basis, to be able to tune into it, to be able to hear what it's trying to tell you in the form of symptoms, primarily actually. And this is exactly what I teach my clients to do in the pillar Reconnect. There are 3 pillars: Simplify, Reconnect, and Sustain. In the pillar Reconnect, I teach them how to reconnect with their body's wisdom, and this is done in various ways. So I'm just going to share a few here with you, the 3 most important ways with you. One is incorporating mindful eating habits, and this is something that I teach my clients to do right from day one. In fact, there's a very interesting exercise where I teach my clients to eat a raisin or a piece of chocolate mindfully by paying attention. It's a very delightful exercise and they all love it. Secondly is through journaling and self-reflection activities. So I take them through some activities during my coaching sessions. My coaching sessions are always divided, part of education, part coaching. So in some of these kind of activities, mindfulness activities. And the third is being an inner coach rather than an inner critic, right? Most of us are very familiar with a critic, wherein we are constantly criticizing ourselves for the things that we are doing wrong. We are talking to ourselves in a pretty nasty manner sometimes if we make mistakes, right? So all of these things, this is our inner critic. However, we can also become an inner coach, where we learn to talk to ourselves with compassion for what we are going through, with some kindness. So that's where an inner coach means. So these are just a few ways that I teach my clients to actually start allowing their bodies to be their guide. It increases the body awareness, and it makes a whole lot of a difference in the long run. So these are all various steps that are part of the body-wise healing framework that I use inside my coaching program. And I teach them how to do this in a step-by-step manner. And I just opened up 10 spots for a free 45 minutes discovery call. And if you would like to know more about this framework and how you can support your body's healing by incorporating this in your daily life, then you should schedule a call and send me a DM with the word call, and I will send you a link to schedule this free call.